All right, guys, we got another story behind the music for you. And we're actually going to talk about one of my favorite songs that I've written here recently, and this is called Backside of Snake Eyes. You'll see that I've posted it here recently. It's pinned on my page. Well, a clip of it is. Uh, so for those of y'all that have followed me for a while would know that I went through a divorce about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. Well, during that time, I ran into this problem of songwriter's block, where no matter what I did, I couldn't write music. I couldn't put two lyrics together to save my life. And I tried, but I kept coming back to the same thing over and over and over again. And I didn't want to write about the divorce. I didn't want to get that deep with it. I just wanted to let it be what it was and just move on from it and continue with my life, and she continued with hers, and really not touch on it. And I called Caleb Hoelscher, and he's a real good buddy of mine out in Conroe, Texas. Phenomenal songwriter. And I told him, I said, look, I called him, I said, hey, I need you to come over to the house. We're just going to write a bad song. All right, we're going to sit down. We're going to just write a bad one. I don't care. I need to get it going. I need to get it to even see if I can still do this. And he said, man, I'm there tomorrow. We'll do it. He's such a good man, and I'd give that man anything he ever asked me for. And so no sooner than I hang up the phone, I come up with the chord progression for Backside of Snake Eyes. And I was like, man, I really like the way that sounds. And that's usually where a song starts. So then I start belting these lyrics at the top of my lungs in my bathroom at like 11 o'clock at night. And came up with the first verse of, the preacher man said to me, you got every right to be free, you better roll back to sin, and you better believe. And it kind of reminded me of my uncle, because my uncle was a pastor, and that was something that he always used to tell me, is like, oh, you got every right to do whatever you want to do, but, you got to answer to Jesus one day, and it was just this lesson that always stuck with me, that just kind of came out of me. And then the next line is, my mama sat me down, said, boy, get your head out the clouds. It's a long walk back from the lost and found. And I always thought that line was so funny to me. And because I've been lost more times than I've been found. And, and it is a long walk every time you come back. But it just kind of started to pour out of me. And I was like, oh my God, dude, this is amazing. And, so fast forward to the next day, and Caleb comes over, and he's like, all right, man, let's sit down. And I laughed, and I said, man, you're not going to believe this, but as soon as we hung up the phone and start working on this song, I really want to work on this one. And he goes, okay, well, let's do it. And I was like, I'm having a hard time with the chorus. At this point, I'd already written the first and second verse, and the second verse originally was different than what it is now. And he goes, okay, well, let's work on the chorus. So he sits down, he hammers out the chorus. Like, I tweak it a little bit, but most of it was Caleb. And I was like, oh man, that's perfect. But now it doesn't fit with the second verse, because it had this more gambler-esque feel to it. And I was like, it's perfect for the song. It just, now it doesn't fit the second verse. And I'll never forget this. Caleb looks at me and he goes, so rewrite the second verse, James. And I was like, man, you sure right. I can rewrite that verse, can't I? And so had Caleb never said that to me, I probably would have never wrote my favorite verse that I've ever written, which is the second verse to Backside of Snake Eyes. It's this whole gambler feel to it, where I kind of touched on the divorce a little bit without actually touching on it, where it was just saying all in on the Queen of Hearts and drew the Queen of Clubs, and it's just saying that you got a bad hand, and you went all in thinking that was it, and it wasn't it. And it happens, man. Sometimes you crap out and the casino kicks you out, right? But it's kind of got that redemption line in it. You can't hear ghosts when they're screaming for me, and it's talking about the shows. Whenever people are screaming and singing the songs, and they're hollering back at you, and they're cheering and they're clapping. It's real easy to ignore a ghost when that's happening, And it just turned out to be one of my favorite songs that I'd ever written. And then once I finally got that song out, the floodgates just kind of opened for songwriting, which led into I Still Bleed, which I haven't put that one out here yet, but it'll be coming soon. But yeah, that is the story behind Backside of Snake Eyes. Appreciate you guys.